Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Tales of Vesperia on our airship. Airship! And this time we are going to start off by talking to everyone, because we ran out of time last time, so we had to quickly save and leave, but this time we got plenty of time now to talk to everyone and see how everyone's doing. Hello, Repeat. Thank you. Woof! Dot dot dot. Okay, excellent conversations. What about you? Yes, you have conversation. Is that the core from the Airships that Judy destroyed? Yes, it's definitely cut with a different formula than a usual core. It looks like what she said was true. She said she wasn't too good at lying after all. To discover that the new technique that you created was bad for the world after what must have been years of research. I can't imagine how the person who created the Hermes technique must have felt. Well, what if it had been you? If I found out that it hurt the Earth, I would have to do something about it. But I wouldn't destroy the Blastia like that. What the... Nothing. If only things weren't so complicated. I could have just blasted her into oblivion and been done with it. So, she doesn't hate her, but she doesn't like her. Which is kind of the same as before, but now there's an understanding gap in there. So it kind of makes sense. Let's talk to everyone else. How about you, Carol? What do you have to say? Ooh, cutscene-ish type thing. Are you thinking about Judy? Yeah, I'm wondering I'm wondering what we should do about her. It's true that she broke the guild's laws and betrayed us. I always thought that a guild's strict adherence to its own laws was what kept it together. That there could be no exceptions, no lenience for those who would break the laws. But she did what she did to save the world. Judith is destroying Blastia because she knows it's the right thing to do, even if it makes people hate her. Yeah. Judith didn't break her laws in order to do something bad. I know this now. I'm going to talk with her about it and give it some more thought. I'll figure this out eventually. Oh yeah? Maybe if I become a little bit more decisive, Nan will listen to me too. Good idea, because you're so indecisive. Okay, so we have you three left. Let's talk to you, looking out into the distance. Oh, Yuri. Sorry to interrupt while you're thinking. Ever since I took Belius' life without meaning to, I've wanted to know what it means to be the child of the full moon, so the same thing doesn't happen again. I always thought that it was my duty to know. But after what happened to Belius, that's how everyone is. They do something, they learn, they do something else, they learn more. You too, Yuri? Yeah. Maybe if I had known everything ahead of time, I wouldn't have made any mistakes. There's only one thing I can say for sure. What's that? Maybe you wouldn't have made any mistakes, but it sure would have been boring. Whoops. Left that on, haven't done that in a while. Let me fix that real quick. PRB. Sorry about that, I haven't done that in so long I didn't even think about it. I really wonder. Okay. Let's talk to you. You probably don't have a lot to say. I'm so glad this thing can fly. Plus, it's autopilot. It's a piece of cake. How do you control it? I know Judith can talk to it, but what if she's asleep like she is now? How do we control him? And then... Raven. Oh, Raven. Raven, Raven, Raven. So, does an old man past his prime fit into the picture at all? What are you whining about, old man? Why are you past your prime? What Judith was talking about? Hermes Blastia, was it? Blastia created with techniques that should have been lost in the war are still active. Do you know what this means? I guess someone who survived the war brought either Blastia or those techniques back with them. If that person was still using the Blastia, even though he knew it was harmful to the Earth, someone like that would have to be quite the villain indeed. Old man, don't tell me you... Hey now, yours truly was nothing but an innocent youth on the straight and narrow back then. I wouldn't do something like that, even on my worst day. I was trying to trick you into giving yourself away. You're a slippery one. Son of a... When are you gonna learn some respect for your elders? Anyway. We talked to everyone, I think. Now what? Do we go back below deck? Maybe Judith woke up when we're done talking to everyone? That might be something. She's sound asleep. Let's let her sleep a bit longer. Ah, gotcha.
Morning, Yuri.
Morning.
It's a beautiful morning, but even as we stand here, the air is out of balance. And our world may already be dying.
That's right.
Well, look who's feeling better.
In the past, these slight fluctuations of the air have not negatively affected our world. There have always been beings who maintain the balance by sensing changes in the airflow. Beings like Pharaoh and Baul, the Entelekea.
So the Entelekea were responsible for keeping the air balanced.
For ages, the Entelekea have regulated the air. But the recent increase has been greater than they could control.
Which is being caused by the Hermes Blastia.
And which is also why you were going around taking down as many of them as you could.
Yes, that was my mission. The path I walk with Baul, to whom I owe my life.
The path you walk.
Now some would even hunt the Entelekea for Apatheia. This has made the mission of the Entelekea even more difficult.
Why is everybody so crazy about these Apatheia anyway?
I'm afraid I don't have an answer. The air an Entelekea absorbs becomes condensed within its body over time. When its life is at an end, that condensed air forms a crystal, an Apatheia. That's all I know. I imagine Pharaoh could shed more light on the subject, though.
So Apatheia are crystals of concentrated air. If that's true and the energy could be extracted from the Apatheia, it would be a source of overwhelming power, I'm sure.
Could we really do that?
I don't know.
I bet somebody wants to use these things for the wrong reasons.
Oh, definitely.
Why didn't you just tell us all this from the beginning?
Seriously, we could have avoided all this trouble if you'd just talked to us. Am I wrong?
Even if you had known, there are things not even you could have prevented.
What do you mean?
I showed up at Heliord because Baul had sensed a disturbance in the air.
Disturbance in the air.
Where there was a disturbance, there was sure to be a Hermes Blastia. But what I found there was not a Blastia, it was a person. That had never happened before.
So it wasn't like you were looking for Estelle in particular back at Heliord.
Yet for some reason, Baul perceived Estelle as a disturbance in the air. I had to find out why. For the sake of the path I've chosen. It was at that time that Pharaoh first appeared. He seemed to have some idea who Estelle was.
Derp.
My mission was to destroy all the Hermes Blastia. However, Estelle was obviously not a Blastia. I needed to make absolutely certain I made a deal with Pharaoh. And he agreed to grant me some time.
You mean...
If it became apparent that her existence posed too great a threat, then I would kill her.
You what?
Settle down. Obviously, Judith reached a different conclusion.
Still, isn't that slightly upsetting to anyone? Like, I understand why she's upset.
Belius said you possess a heart of compassion. If you can communicate that to Pharaoh somehow, you may learn what you should do.
Hey, there's no real reason for you to fight Pharaoh anymore, right? I mean, we know the Hermes Blastia are what's causing the problem and everything. If we just make sure the Apatheia don't fall into the wrong hands...
I still want to meet Pharaoh. I want to hear what he has to tell me.
But...
Please try to understand. I have to know more about myself and take responsibility for who I am.
All right.
Sorry, Yuri. I don't think we can decide what to do about Judith right away.
I promise not to leave again until things have been settled, as you said. I need to accept that responsibility myself.
Let's go and find Pharaoh. We'll finally be getting around to one of the first things we set out to do. We can work out the rest once this is finished.
So many episodes ago, we were going to go find him.
There's a rocky crag in the center of the sands of Kagura. That is where Pharaoh lives. Baul can take us there.
Okay, let's go. This meeting's been a long time coming.
I can communicate with Baul, but there are still a few things you should know.
Such as?
Like what?
Exactly.
Baul can only land on the ground in wide, open spaces. So you won't be able to dismount on steep mountain ranges or in narrow canyons.
Can't he land on water?
Water's no good either.
Really? He looks like he'd be a good swimmer.
Yeah, he'd sink like a rock.
Huh.
Wow.
Who knew?
That's why we have a ship, right?
Right. If you'd like to get down onto the ocean, let me know. Baul will set our ship down there for us.
Okay, but what should we do when we want to fly again?
Use Baul's horn to call him to you.
Bowels. That's all there is to it?
Every Intellicheia has a special region in its brain that can be used for communication with a special power Critians possess.
Huh. So we can get a hold of him by using that.
Right.
Obtain Bow's horn. And this is basically the same type of flight as, or same type of movement as the boat, but in flight form. So it's got like an extra control. And, oh, have we been sitting here the whole time? I thought we were like flying around and crap. Okay, let's listen to this and then I have something to say, so don't interrupt any more skits.
Judith, you're familiar with Pharaoh, aren't you?
Is he really as scary as he seems?
Well, let's see. Sometimes he's logical, sometimes he's emotional. He can be really scary or really kind.
All right, that didn't help very much.
One thing's certain, his power is extraordinary, even among the Intellicheia.
Here's hoping we don't wind up looking like poor old Mount Temsa the minute we need him.
If he can do that to a mountain, there wouldn't be anything left if he turned on us.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
wish you wouldn't joke about scary things like that.
Why should we get scared before we even get there? Especially if he's that strong.
Wish I could take it as lightly as you and Yuri.
Okay, so we can move around, you know, sort of like as if we were on water, but the cool thing is we get basically, I think, like double speed over if we were in a boat. Like, look how fast we're moving. This is amazing, and like, if you're ever curious about exploring the map, this is the best way to do it. Oh, like you can see, the whole place is just like a big circling map thing. But anyway, down over here should be the sands of Kagura, which is where we need to go, right about that way. Let me turn the camera. And we can immediately land anywhere like that has flat ground, like right here we could land. If we wanted to land here, we could disembark with our boat. And then, let's see, yeah, if I click in my left stick, then that causes them to pick us back up. It's the most amazing thing ever, basically. And it'll be super useful to get around quickly. Like, it won't take us 5 minutes to get around the world, you know, anymore. It'll take us like 10 seconds. So, this is where Pharaoh is? Should be. I wasn't able to see him when we came to the desert, but I think this is where we can meet him. You know, I find it funny. They walked off of the boat, you know, over the little bridge or whatever, and then they, instead of like standing at the end of the bridge or whatever, they walked backwards to have this conversation. I hope nothing bad will happen. What if he suddenly attacks us? I can't make any guarantees. I don't think we'll have a say in the matter. Carol, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. I should go. Pharaoh sure did pick a bleak place to live in, don't you think? They say this area used to be covered in lush greenery. Why did it turn into this rocky desert? I don't know that much. Estelle, are you really going to meet him? Even though you could be killed? Yes, I've already made peace with this decision. Well, wait for us. Rita, you've been acting a little funny ever since hearing Judy's story on the ship. Do you have a problem with meeting Pharaoh? I just think it'll be hard on her to hear what he has to say. But it's too late to turn back now. We've come this far after all. Indeed we have. We have Skit.
I never imagined you'd be able to speak with the Untitled.
Well, I use a Critian technique to do it. Wait, do I detect a little jealousy?
Maybe. Right, Rapide?
Yuri, you want to talk to Rapide?
I think the two of you understand each other well enough already.
I got him pretty well figured out, but I don't know if he understands me.
I think he feels the same way.
As we're walking up the incredibly perilous, windy path that if we just accidentally trip or anything, we will fall to our doom on some rocky cragginess.
Well, he doesn't seem to be here. Maybe he's off somewhere taking a nap.
Pharaoh, you are here, aren't you?
Insipid poison, you appear before me at last.
So you are here. Is that how you greet all your guests, Pharaoh? By calling them names?
For what reason have you come to me? Surely you are aware that I could end your existence with a mere thought.
You talk pretty big, don't you? Well, if you really want to fight, I'd hate to disappoint you.
Yuri, no! Everyone, please wait!
Estelle!
Pharaoh, please hear what I have to say.
Does death hold no fear for you, little one? For you gaze now into the mouth of death itself.
I am afraid, but I'm even more afraid of dying without knowing who I really am. Belius told me I needed to meet you to learn about my destiny. I have to know just what that destiny is. I understand that I am a threat to the Untitled, but you said that I am a poison to this world. What is this power I have? Just who is the child of the full moon? If it is true that my existence cannot be tolerated, then it's okay if I have to die. But I at least deserve to know why it is I have to die. Please tell me, I beg of you.
There was a time when this was a verdant land, sheltered by the blessing of an air crene.
So there was an air crene here.
But what happened? Why did it change?
What you see are the results of too much air and its aftermath. As to why the air ran rampant, the answer lies with the poison brought by the child of the full moon.
Huh?
The power of the child of the full moon stimulates the air crene more than any blastia.
Huh?
Blastia convert air into energy by way of a formula. So if Estelle can use her healing arts without the aid of any blastia, She must possess a formula in her very being that lets her convert air into energy. Judith was searching for Blastia that used a particular kind of formula. So, this special formula Estelle has must also consume massive amounts of air.
And this is why way earlier in the story, whenever she noticed that Estelle didn't have a Blastia but was doing healing, she was really surprised. Because, you know, you need a Blastia, but how is she doing it? Well, she was doing it by some formula inside of her.
Which causes the air cranae to become more active and pump out more air than they should. I had hoped my hypothesis would have been wrong.
Then
It is as she has said. With each use of her power, the child of the full moon uses far more air than the Blastia. In so doing, the imbalance of air in this world is furthered. For the planet, such an existence can only be called a poison.
So you just wipe it out then? A little quick to judge, aren't you, Pharaoh?
This problem concerns the entire planet, and she is its cause. To do nothing would be unparalleled folly.
If the problem's with Estelle, then it's for us to solve. You have no place in our affairs.
The gravity of this situation is beyond your grasp.
You don't honestly think that everything's gonna be all sunshine and rainbows if Estelle dies, do you?
It would at least eliminate one problem.
Pharaoh, at Heliord I stopped myself. And again at Dawngrest I stopped you. What I thought was a Blastia turned out to be a human. Before I realized it, I had lost my way. I never thought this child could be as great a danger as you had said.
And due to your confusion, I granted you the time necessary to see things as they are. As a result, my sister Belius is now lost to me. Enough. This power will bring only ruin.
Not sure I understand all this, but if her power's the problem, why can't she just not use it?
There can be no guarantee she will not try to use the power.
That's true. She does have trouble turning a blind eye to things happening around her.
Yeah.
Someday she will surely use her power to help someone. However, as long as she keeps that spirit of compassion, she cannot only be seen as harmful. She is not like a Blastia. I know that you can feel the difference.
Compassion alone will not save this world.
Listen, Pharaoh, I get that you've thought all this through with everybody's best interest in mind, but why doesn't that world have a place for Estelle?
It is sometimes necessary to remove a part to save the whole.
I don't buy that for a second. What makes you so high and mighty that you're the one to decide who gets cut and who doesn't?
We have endured the anxiety of existence for far greater a span than you can conceive. Such words mean nothing from those who call this world home for but a fleeting moment.
Pharaoh, please, listen. The important thing is finding a way to stop the excessive air, correct? We still have time left to search for such a thing.
Judith.
And if the effects of Estelle's power reach their absolute limit, I will kill her as promised. You should have no complaint with this.
Hey, Judith, are you serious?
I'm sure brave Vesperia will come up with something before that happens, right?
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course we will.
Of course.
Well, score one for Judith. So that settles it. If we humans are to blame for Estelle's problem in bringing on the apocalypse, then it's up to us to make things right. If we give it all we've got and still blow it, you can slow roast us on a grill for all I care.
You have changed. If you were still as before.
Have I? That is nice to hear.
Very well. Be ever mindful, though, that time is fleeting.
Wait! If the formulas are causing the excessive air, then there must have been times when this happened in the past. I mean, the Blastia were a product of an ancient civilization.
Their exist those who have inherited the sins of the past. If any yet can speak of what occurred in the days of old, it is they.
And he's gone. Ta-da!
He's gone.
That's what I just said.
Thanks for everything, Yuri. Judith, you too.
No problem. But hey,
What?
it's okay if I have to die? What the hell was that?
I'm sorry.
I don't want to hear that again.
I'm sorry.
It's not okay.
I was really worried there for a while.
We were pretty lucky that Bruiser was in a mood for conversation. Poor Raven's heart can't handle that sort of stuff anymore.
If he really wanted to kill Estelle, he'd have attacked us immediately. And that's what I can't figure out.
I imagine Pharaoh was conflicted as well. He hid himself from us in the desert to see just what we were made of.
Huh. Maybe he wasn't as bad as we thought after all.
You might be right. I get the feeling he'd do whatever's necessary when push comes to shove.
That sounds like you.
Maybe.
Yes, it does. You've killed 2 people in the process of push comes to shove.
But what are we gonna do, Yuri? You heard what he said.
We're going to fix the problems the air's causing, and that's all.
That's easier said than done. We're pretty much at square one, you know.
There's no doubt that the formulas are related somehow to the air getting used up. We need to find out about the ancient Blastia, and if they went berserk or not. If we had that kind of information, it might give us a clue.
Ask those who have inherited the sins of the past about the days of old. Or at least that's what Pharaoh said.
The Kritia were the ones to invent the Blastia. In other words, we need to ask a Kritian who is still familiar with the old stories.
Yeah, the Kritia are often credited as the inventors of the Blastia.
There isn't much left of the Kritian city of Timza, though. Things might be different if we had somewhere else to look.
The hidden city of Miorzo. It is far older than Timza, and the birthplace of the Kritia. The first Blastia also originated there.
Really? Well, what do you know? You wouldn't happen to know where this Miorzo might be, would you, darling?
I've heard that name somewhere. There was a Kritian in Ospio. I'm sure they mentioned something about it.
Do you think that person might still be there?
Well, there's no harm in checking it out.
Judith, are you coming with us?
I should. We still have the issue of the guild to straighten out.
So, to Ospio then.
To Ospio. Okay, oh, another skit. How lovely. They're everywhere.
Wow! The hourglass is really amazing! The enemies just stopped moving!
Oh,
Yeah,
he's talking
certainly
about
makes it
the
easier to win
hourglass
battles.
item.
You can get ready for what's next, attack enemies, change battle formation. And if we're having trouble running away from enemies, this makes it a cinch. Oh, and it even lets us keep enemies from running away. It's seriously awesome.
Hourglass! Personally, I find this way easier.
That's not an hourglass. Okay, that was interesting. Anyway, our next city is Ospio, which... Let's see, I think this is the first land. I never remember what the continents are called. I just always think of it as the first area, the second area, the third area, and then the fourth area. And then there's like a fifth area too, but the fifth area isn't as important. But Ospio should be somewhere about over here. Yeah, here's the capital city. There's the first one. Isn't it so cool being able to just shoot over everything that we've already gone over so quickly? A little tent place to sleep, but we don't really need that. And here's Ospio. And we kind of need to leave in a second, but I think we have enough time to sort this out and save in there.
It's been another long day. Let's save the manhunt for tomorrow.
I second that. Oh, how long's it been since I've slept in a proper bed?
Well, I suppose we can all stay at my place.
Wait, there's something I want to take care of first.
You mean me?
Carol,
This is a guild thing. Best for us not to get involved.
I've thought about it a lot. What we should do, like, as a guild. And I realized, we have to figure out a few things if we're gonna keep this guild going.
It sounds like you've decided what we should do.
Well, we said it before. The most important thing is obeying the guild's laws. Those who break the laws suffer strict punishment, even if they're friends or family. They say that's the source of a guild's pride.
Yes.
So what I'm thinking is, we all have to receive punishment.
What? I don't like this plan.
I didn't know that Judith was fighting for our planet all on her own. But even though I didn't know, I still failed to help a fellow guild member. So I gotta accept my punishment. Yuri?
Me?
Maybe you were trying to follow your own path, but you still kept things hidden from us. There's no way that can be for the good of the guild.
Well,
I don't think
So you
Yuri
gotta be
likes this
punished
idea either.
Now he's stretching it.
The laws are important. What if someone does the right thing, but still breaks the law? Should they be punished? To be honest, I just don't know yet. So that's why we should all just accept our punishment and start over from scratch. What do you think?
I can't promise I won't have my secrets in the future.
Well, if that's the way it is, if you can't trust us, then there's nothing you can do. That would be my fault.
And what if I destroy a Blastia that our guild was planning on using again? That would be breaking the law that says I should act in the interest of the guild.
But you'd also be acting for the sake of the world. Guilds aren't there just so people can obey their laws. I think we can let that slide.
Doesn't that sort of make your laws meaningless?
Yeah, it kinda does.
I've never heard of a guild like this before. But you've got me interested, I'll give you that much.
Carol, you're just full of surprises. I had thought plenty about myself and what I should be doing. But I might not have considered how my actions would affect you guys. This is a way of settling things I didn't even realize existed.
I just wanted to keep traveling with all of you. I just wanted each of our own paths to be the same as brave Vesperia's.
Sounds all right with me. You heard the man, Judy. I guess that's where we stand.
You really are some of the oddest people I've ever met. But I suppose I can manage to put up with you.
All right then, one more time. Brave Vesperia, fall out!
They're just making it up as they go, aren't they? Is that all a guild is?
The Don ran his guild just a teensy bit differently.
there's something beautiful about this way, though.
So, what about the punishment?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I almost forgot.
almost forgot.
Looks like you guys are on Critian researcher detail. We'll be relaxing at my place.
Hey, why do you get to decide?
Excuse me? Did I hear a complaint?
No, ma'am.
No.
Parted with Estelle, Rita, and Raven. Oh, we have another skit. Reconciling with Judith.
Carol, were you
Reconciling.
thinking by yourself this whole time about what to do with Judy?
Yeah, it was pretty much all I thought about after we left Nordopolica. That, and about what you did to Rago and Cumore.
Really? It's nice to hear you thought about me that much, even when I wasn't around.
Yeah, I wasn't sure at first. What was right, what was wrong. I think I have the Dawn to thank for setting me straight. Without the Dawn's last words, I never would have found answers to the questions I had.
You gotta stand on your own 2 feet.
Yeah, I was thinking about what that meant. And before I knew it, I wasn't thinking about what was right. I was thinking about what I want to do.
And that helped you decide what to do with the guild.
Yeah, so here's to fresh starts.
Yeah.
To fresh starts.
Excellent. Fresh starts. Unfortunately, we will have to make a fresh exit soon because we've gone way over time. That little guild conversation between the people took up a bit more time than I was expecting, but it's not bad by any means. I mean, going a little over isn't bad. I want to keep it to a certain time so I don't get people annoyed by the length of a video, but I mean, it's not necessarily bad. There's nothing wrong with it. So anyway, these are kind of confusing me a bit. Oh wait, no, that makes perfect sense. Okay. So, anyway, thank you for watching. I'm Mr. 250. Come back next time for more Tales of Vesperia. Bye!